Alrighty, here's some of my drawings that I've been excavating from my storage, and I was able to kind of locate some of my old reportage drawings. I thought it'd be fun to kind of share it with you guys. These are just kind of like little quick thumbnails that I was doing at the Intrepid, which is kind of a naval base place. And I think these are too quick though. I think what I should have done is done a little quick thumbnail and then really slowed down with the drawing. You see how it gets a little scribbly. So that's, part of the reason to show some of this work is to kind of give you guys advice of what not to do. There's just some reference in here, not my stuff. And yeah, this is a drawing just outside of my apartment in Brooklyn. Just doing sketches of the balcony and all that type of stuff. And people, I was trying to kind of group the people together with the light and shadow, which I kind of liked. It kind of worked out pretty good. But again, this is many, many years ago, and I'm just trying to figure things out. I don't know if you can see this, but I did this one with this person with this really, really big hand, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Earth Day many years ago. So these are a little bit more cartoony, but it's also a way that you can draw. You can have a little bit of fun with the people, and I colored the background in with watercolor here. And some figure drawing, experimental figure drawing, I guess you call it. But it's just using shape and silhouette and just playing around with color. I'm not sure if these were totally 100% successful, but, just kind of playing around. And just some straight drawing here. So I really want to focus on this one area and then this one area, which are the hands. And I guess the feet too, and then also the face, and this other area kind of kept open. And yeah, there's a lot of figure drawing in here. Let's see. I wanted to kind of focus a little bit more on the reportage drawings, but I didn't realize how much drawing I had done until I went through these piles and piles and piles of drawings. This was Crayola crayon. I had this Crayola crayon fixation for maybe about a year, and I want to go back to this, where I would just draw the figure, then I'd press down really hard. You need like the full 64 box, or bigger, a big box, so you can really choose the colors. And I was really kind of trying to exaggerate those colors. And then more figure drawing here. Just me kind of goofing around, having some fun. People always ask me about how do you get proportion. I'm like, I don't even care about proportion. I'm thinking more about design. Like what's the design situation? And then, let me get in a better position here. So instead, if you think about design in figure drawing class, later on when you do character design, you'll already be kind of warmed up. Yeah, just some drawings of friends here. Again, this is another one where the person was really, really close to me, so I tried to exaggerate this area, then kind of work my way back to a smaller area over there. It got stained. Old drawings. Just another one. Yeah, trying to exaggerate one thing again. So I have the hands as the main thing. I kind of like that drawing, actually. I haven't seen that one in years. So I try to have at least one thing that I'm going to exaggerate in the drawing, and then let everything else be secondary. Very much like graphic design. And these were done during my lunch breaks when I was working back at Disney. And I was working within a very controlled space. I was forcing the figure within I cut like a little piece of cardboard, and I was drawing within the cardboard. And then later on I just colored it with watercolor. This is another one. Yeah, you can see it really trying to force the figure into one space. All this crazy stuff I was doing. And then once in a while I would do something a little bit more straightforward, just like a normal, quote, normal drawing. And this was mixing Crayola crayon, I believe, and then watercolor. And then this is oil pastel, so it's really black. And yeah, more from that Crayola crayon stage. So I did these right when I graduated college. I just continued to draw quite a bit, just figure drawing. And it was a good time, definitely a good time. Get more of the Crayola crayons. And just trying to see if I can see more, you know, and incorporate the things that I learned in college, basically. Yeah, here's some more. This one, rarely do I draw in pencil, but this was drawn in pencil, and but I was trying to use it as if it was ink. I wasn't doing much shading or anything, it was just straight drawing. And again, another one. I kind of want to go back to this. I still have some crayons, so I was thinking about going back to this really soon. This was kind of direct watercolor, you know, so no line at all. Just kind of trying to work the silhouette, you know, trying to get some kind of a fashion thing going on there. Oh, this is high school rendering. So funny. Let's see. Just making sure the recorder is still going. So yeah, anyway, you can get the idea that a lot of drawing, you know, just starts to accumulate, you know, little thumbnail drawings, figuring out a scene from a movie or something. But yeah, this is the stuff I really wanted to show, which is kind of like the reportage. And I was always frustrated and slightly embarrassed by these drawings. But now, years later, I'm thinking this might be good to share with the class, is that they're a little bit more fun and wacky, and you can kind of twist the buildings around a little bit. And I wanted to show this to show that you can have fun with reportage. It doesn't have to be totally serious. Got a figure drawing stuck in there. Now, I went from very cartoony to this stage, which I thought was better than the cartoony stage. But there's a lot of these different stages that you guys can have fun with. You know, it doesn't have to be so serious or crazy cartoony either. This is a little in the America section at Epcot Center. And these are drawings that I've never shown the world because I was always embarrassed by them. But anyway, as you can see, I was kind of exaggerating and I was just trying to find my own footing, basically. But for those of you who are interested in getting into animation, you know, exaggerating the characters can sometimes be a good thing if inspiration strikes. This is another one. Again, I've never ever shown these drawings because they are unsuccessful drawings, you know. And the thing is, when you do stuff, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, you know. This type of detailing I thought works pretty good. But I think the figures aren't working. They're too fast and it's just a mess, you know. So if I were to have slow down with the figure, you have to work from memory because they're walking around. But if I were to slow down with the figure and then this, it could have been a successful drawing, you know? So now I look at it, I'm like, I could do this, you know? But back then I couldn't figure out how to fix it. You know, it was very frustrating. This one was, I think, moderately successful. This was drawn right outside of my neighborhood in Brooklyn, you know, just street, you know, a supermarket. And I was very proud because I drew this bird as it was like flying by. But yeah, just very straightforward, you know. And the great thing, drawing your own environment is such an awesome thing, you know. All right, so Here's another one. Here's the thumbnail. So here I started to figure out how to thumbnail, which is you do your scribbles when you're figuring out what you want to do, but then you actually slow down when you're drawing the actual thing. And I love doing this. I get really obsessive about finding these black shapes and coloring them in, excuse me. I got that from a courtroom artist who would draw, he would find these shapes and color them in. I got really obsessed with that. Again, another unsuccessful drawing. But more importantly, I want to show that you can exaggerate things. You know, you can have things feel like it's going back in space, you know, and I could do this, again, I could do this now. The only thing is I would slow down. Now, when I was looking at these drawings, I realized what the problem was. Why, A, I was frustrated, B, why the drawings were so unsuccessful, why they were bad, was because I was thinking about drawing, I was forcing the lines and making things go in space. And that is what kills your drawing. That's what killed my drawing. So instead of that, relax, take a breath, think of something else, slow down. Even if the whole drawing is only this big, and you're going to do much better. I know that if I could even redraw this. I could take this and redraw it right now and create a drawing 10 times better just because I've learned how to relax, you know. So again, this one's more successful, I would say, because this one I wasn't really thinking about drawing. I was just relaxing. I was in some cafeteria and I wrote down how long it took. So this section probably took 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm not sure why I did that, 8 minutes, but I did it. So actually now, years later, it's good information. So this drawing took about 30 minutes to do, 5, 10, 15, about 30 minutes to do. Again, I love the coloring, coloring idea, just drawing random things inside a shopping mall, but finding opportunities to blacken in. And I did these with ink. I didn't do it with marker. Ink works much better. It's a much more richer, like, you know, you take the quill, not the quill, but the bottle of ink and a brush and just kind of fill it in. So anyway, this is all secret stuff. Don't show it to anybody. Same idea. This one I think was very successful, you know. Let's say out of how many reportage drawings I did, let's say I would do 100, and out of 100, 1 would come out good. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Now, for you guys, if you relax, your ratio is going to be much higher, you know. But anyway, I think this one I was really able to relax kind of nicely. And this one I kind of like too, strangely enough. Most of the drawings I don't post online because I don't like them. But I kind of weirdly like this one. But this was a subway, you know. So I'm, let's say, right about here. So I'm looking down as it going away. But I'm also looking down that way. And I colored it. And then this one was back in Brooklyn. Again, it was relaxing. Gosh darn it. I wish I relaxed more. You know, sometimes I would hit it and I would miss it, and I didn't realize what the difference is between hitting and missing. Hitting was relaxing, and missing was rushing, you know? Like this. Even though it creates an interesting concept, we've got a parade going by, and floats and all that wonderful stuff, but all it is a thumbnail. You know, who cares? If you were a filmmaker and you're going, or an art director, and you're going to tell someone, I want a beautiful drawing that looks like this, da 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 da, and you give them that sketch, that's fine. But for an artist to put it in your portfolio, you know, you have to be able to slow down and not just indicate, but actually relax and do it. This one I think, again, came out pretty good. This was, it's like a Batman poster. You know, I was actually thinking of maybe putting this on my wall. You can see how old it is. It's all damaged. But yeah, once in a while, I would hit it. You know, and then there's this stuff. Again, on brown paper, pretty cool. You've got little spots of light. That's pretty cool. But what the heck is this? Mahoney, slow down. You know, it's funny. I wish I could go back in time and critique myself. You know, I did have an incredible teacher. But he wasn't giving me what I needed, which was meditation, slowing down, relax, don't think about the drawing, think about something else, and just let it happen in a very, very slow way. I was rushing. I was rushing. And these are just the ones I saved. There was hundreds and hundreds of drawings that I threw away that were much worse than these. Again, you know, something's trying to happen. Again, I was kind of wondering, should I show my students this? Am I going to influence you guys in a bad way? But having fun with figures and letting things happen is not a bad thing. You know, maybe you guys can do a better job than I did. But the idea of just opening it up a little bit, because I feel like the reportage assignment that I've been giving, people are doing such an incredible job that when it comes to portfolio review, we kind of have seen it before. We've seen these incredible reportage drawings. So what can we do to kind of add a little bit of salt and pepper to the mix? So that could be something like, you know, just having fun, you know, with the architecture at least, and playing a little bit more with the worlds, maybe. Alrighty, so these are these very long drawings, so kind of hard to see. But yeah, I was drawing people at Disney World and here Disneyland. Here are some of the thumbnail sketches I would do first, and then as you can see this, but you can kind of pan across, and it's mainly just people. You know, and I could tell, you know, that I wasn't necessarily enjoying what I was drawing that much, but I do feel like if you can, again, relax, it doesn't really matter what you're drawing. You could be drawing an acorn or something like that. But if you really zone out, you can get into it. I wasn't really zoning out. That's the problem with these drawings. I was still very conscious of trying to make a good drawing. But anyway, I wanted to kind of show you, but I guess the reason I want to show you is you can have fun though too. The colors are terrible, but the idea of just sometimes having fun with letting things being a little distorted is definitely an okay thing. Maybe. And again, part of this is showing you what not to do. And then these, God, they really, again, just bums me out a little bit. But anyway, these were some drawings. Obviously, I was thinking about design and graphics and things. If you guys ever get a chance to take a look at my Instagram, Mahoney Artworks, you can see where all this went to. You know, I'm very happy with the stuff I have on Instagram. I definitely would never put this stuff up because, again, it wasn't really, you know, it wasn't really my thing. But sometimes what this work is just practice. I hate the word practice, but you're trying things out. You know, I'm trying this. I'm trying pastel. I'm trying. And some of this stuff did show up in the work I do now, so it was a stepping stone. I wish that I could skip all this and go right to what I'm doing now? Yes, that would be great, but that's sometimes impossible. You have to kind of go through these kind of awkward stages. And what I would do is I would do a whole series sometimes of drawings that, you know, were just bumming me out, you know, like what the heck are you thinking here? It's upside down, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, there was this whole, I guess, time period where I really was not, you know, of course I'm trying to look at Picasso a little bit, but you know, it's part of the process. And when I was going through, because I bought these new flat files so I can organize my work, and I realized, my God, look at all the drawing that I've done. You know, all this horrible stuff. But you know, I was trying and trying and trying. I think, oh my God, if I could go back in time, you know, I said it before, I'll say it again, and just figure out a way to relax. You know, if I'm drawing this giant snow walker from Empire Strikes Back and I'm at a show, this drawing should take 4 hours to draw, not 10 minutes, you know? So if I were to, again, go back in time and talk to myself, I would say, John, what are you thinking right here? You're thinking about drawing. You're thinking about markings. You're thinking about creating a composition. You shouldn't be thinking about any of that. You should be thinking about something that doesn't have anything to do with drawing. Give yourself a chance to relax, because the drawing that I admired back then was these more relaxed drawings that people would do, but I didn't know how. I just thought they drew really well. And I drew really bad. That's what I thought. But now I realize, no, it's not that at all. It's just slowing down. So that's another reason why I started teaching, because I can kind of pass some of this advice to you guys. Look at that. Okay, obviously someone needs to slow down, you know? So, and when I critique and you hear me say slow down over and over again, you'll know why. Look at this. It was kind of interesting, but can I put this in a portfolio? You know, no way. So in other words, I fell into this drawing too fast thing as well, you know? And because of it, most of these drawings have been thrown away, quite honestly. Going through the archives. All right, and then this stuff just gets insane. This really quick charcoal drawings. I don't even want to show you. They're so jacked up. But I'm kind of excited to show these. Not that these are good, but this is stuff I was doing when I first started trying to get into reportage and trying to, you know, pull things together. Look at this. God, this takes me back. I remember being very upset, honestly, with these drawings. You know, I was just bummed out. Now, of course, I can look at it knowing that I can redraw it, that I'm not stuck in this world. I'm not nearly as upset. Why am I upset? Because, I mean, obviously it's a mess, but also, what's going on? You know, so I was drawing to the music and getting into the feel of it and stuff like that. But, you know, you don't have to run to the finish line. You know, it's the same story of the tortoise and the hare, the turtle and the rabbit. You know, the rabbit runs around and around and ends up losing the race because the tortoise takes their time and they make it there, you know. So I definitely think being an artist is being a tortoise. You know, take the turtle way of going, not the rabbit. Because what the rabbit does is just run around in circles. You don't get anywhere. Anyway, enough griping. Here's some thumbnails. I would get into these cultural thumbnails, drawing at Disney, either Disney World or Epcot Center. This is Carousel. This is something I like to show you guys too, is when you're drawing something, you can exaggerate. You know, that's the one thing I like about this stuff, you know, is that there is this tremendous sense of exaggeration. And some of that has shown up in my work now. And I'm very grateful for that. I really am. The heck, you know, this is one of my very first drawings, 1988, long before you guys were born. But yeah, just trying to figure things out. This one actually was the main reason I made this video, was to show you this one drawing. This was at some type of museum or something, but you can see how I was trying to exaggerate the space. Everything's like going back and it's twisted, and that type of thing is cool. But take your time, relax. This was actually part of my portfolio when I was first graduated college. I had this, is, you can see it's in a page, and this is some of the stuff that I would show, just cultural thing. Here's another, this is just drawing my friend. Here's how he drew, all scribbly. Now he's a storyboard artist in all these big movies and stuff. But this, I like this subject matter too, of just drawing people in class. You know, there's something kind of fun about that. And yeah, nothing to say about that. I'm going to Crayola crayons again. Again, thumbnails, lots and lots of thumbnails. So the funny thing is, I'll be looking at movies nowadays, and you know, I'm thinking, my God, these designs are terrible. But you know, I spent years and years and years studying composition, and a lot of times the people that work on these big movies haven't really spent as much time on composition. So I have to kind of cut them some slack, you know. And I personally, of course, could be better at it. You know, I'm not saying that I'm great, but I did study it. These, I think, were more successful than I thought they were. If I were to have kept going in this direction, where we're just slowing down and coloring every single image, slow down, color, slow down, color, slow down, color, I think I would have had a series of drawings which could have taken me places. But I sort of did it, and I wasn't quite sure if I liked it or not, and I stopped doing it. And I wish I didn't. I wish I kept going. Because it wasn't, I mean, again, this isn't a great hand or anything, but there was something there that was trying to peek its way out, you know? Drawings on the subway. This is kind of like a vertical reportage. This one isn't bad, actually. It's not quite coming together. You know, you need to kind of close off your shapes here and there. But the actual feeling of the bodies, the figure drawing in here isn't bad. You know, it isn't bad. So yeah, another thing too is date your drawings. Write the date. I have no idea when I did these. I wish I had put a date on them. If you feel shy about signing your drawings, at least put a date on everything you do. Date, 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 date. Because many, many years later, you're gonna wish that you dated it. Again, man, relax, Mahoney. You're going too fast. This is the original drawing for that I think I showed you guys earlier. Maybe, maybe not. But there, at a certain point, they all kind of look alike. Let's see. These drawings started to get a little bit more ambitious. This is like a long reportage drawing of the carousel. So, you know, I'm drawing the carousel horses way too fast. And then I wanted to have the horses kind of flying off of the carousel, flying in midair. So there's an idea there. I think the idea is okay. I think the execution is terrible. You know? It's a big, giant drawing. This drawing should have taken a week, not an hour. So another thing, too, is when you're working with ink, knowing how much space you need to cover. So this is, I think the recorder ran out a little bit, but this is, I was going for a red, white, and blue theme here. Hopefully you guys aren't bored to death. Anyway, you know, like I said, I've never ever shown any of this stuff before. So, experimental, look at that. I took typography in class. Experimental. And then playing around with figures, you know, compositions. You know, I guess you get the idea that, you know, there's just a tremendous amount of drawings. You know, this was, I guess what you might call my style. I remember I did this and showed my teacher and he hated it. But he's like, what he said to me, I remember very clearly, he said, maybe your friends might like it, but I expect more out of you than just this. And he was totally right. What he was saying is that, yeah, it's kind of cool and people like it, but I could do more with my art than just these kind of goofy characters. And even though it has nice memories to me, I'm glad that I listened to him and I was able to kind of go further. So anyway, just want to see if there's any more kind of reportage drawings in here. A lot of it is just figures. This was drawing at the museum. Again, I think the design's okay. The color's terrible, but the idea of these giant like porpoises, and there's people over here, and just trying. Wow, this is super early here. So this is back in college, and this is me literally trying to draw as realistically as I possibly could. Look at how whacked out this. I was literally trying to draw realistically. And this is what came out of my hands, So if I wanted to do something kind of goofy and I did this, that's fine. But if I'm trying to do realistic and I can't, I remember thinking, I can't see this person's face. This is all I could see, this big giant eye and everything like that. So it took me, like I said, about 8 years to kind of work out of this. And now I realize, again, if I just kept my pen down on the paper, that it completely fixed this. But sometimes the simplest solution takes the longest to find. You know what I mean? It's not like you guys are going to find issues in your artwork and stuff, and you're going to be like, I don't know how to fix it, and you work and work and work for years sometimes. And the solution might be the simplest thing in the world, but there's a million solutions out there. It's like saying there's a million doors. It's okay, just open up the right one. It's like, well, how do I find the right one? You have to open up, 10,000 wrong ones to open up to get the right one. It's like a lottery card. It's easy to win the lottery. You just got to get the right card. But how do you get the right card? So anyway, more little sketches, reportage, doodles. Again, the reason I wouldn't even show you guys this work if I didn't think there was going to be some type of a benefit for you, besides just what not to do. But the idea of being able to draw to music sometimes, at least with the backgrounds, and allow the buildings to be a little twisted and wacky, if you've seen any of my work now, you'll notice that it's a little bit more conservative. It was totally, this is like, this stuff was all over the place back in the day. Here's another one of me trying to draw realistically. God, because I do drawings now, and I'm like, oh man, this is cool. Drawing's easy. But I forgot the 10,000 drawings that I had done before. I forgot. I literally forgot. And I went through my storage shed recently and found all these drawings, cleaned off all the rat poop. And I'm like, I was actually kind of surprised how much I drew, because I know, and this is only one file. I have 20 of these files packed with drawings, and I know I threw away 90% of the drawings that I've done, right? So that's just a ton of drawings. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to kind of share this kind of secret art, let's call it. This is not my best work. That's why it's a secret. But this is kind of interesting. Oh, actually, let me pull this one over. These are kind of cool, these little thumbnails. But again, hey, you were slowing down a little bit, my God. And then this type of stuff. This is something that I never really talk about here in this class. Is sometimes letting music influence your drawings a little bit. So this is like, again, the carousel. My teacher, for some reason, was really kind of interested in the carousel. Now, I think that's great. I think his interest in the carousel is wonderful. I didn't like the carousel then. I don't like the carousel now. In fact, I hate the carousel. I hate carousel horses. But I was in a class and I was trying to learn and stuff like that. And sometimes when you're in class, you're going to be doing stuff that might not be your thing. And I'm sure my teacher would say, okay, well, do what you want. But I didn't know what I wanted. That's the problem. It wasn't like he was forcing me to do this. I didn't know any other thing to do but that. Oh my God. God. Literally, I was trying to draw realistically. Look at this stuff. It's so jacked up. I was trying to draw a real person. My God. Poor me. But again, if I could go back in time, it's very, very simple. Stop thinking about drawing. Stop thinking about every single line you put down. Relax, think about something else, breathe. Because I was a better artist than what's on this paper, And that's the thing that I want to try to do in this class is to get to pull out that really good artist that's under the surface that might be covered by certain things that are blocking you from doing good artwork. Ugh, I can't even look at this drawing. And you might like these drawings. You might be saying, hey, Mahoney, these are cool. It's like, it's not what I wanted. And if you're not drawing what you want, it's bad, if that makes any sense. So, drawing the dinosaurs, I mean, come on, relax. Now, mind you, our teacher, as great as he was pushing this idea. Pushing us to kind of push our line and get aggressive and da-da-da-da. And because of it, there's this wacky kind of style that came out of it, which I think is a benefit. I think that part of it is there's a certain energy that I still have in my drawing based on all this work. And I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. I wouldn't want my stuff to be stiff. But I definitely have had problems with slowing down. Here's when I was trying to get into my own world a little bit secretly by myself and looking at fantasy art. God, so sad. But yeah, even this, going through every single drawing is just way too much. I just want to see, there's one other color. Oh my God, okay, this is the one we're going to end it on. So, again, this is the carousel. And now I drew the internal organs of the person in here. You can't tell what's going on. The inside and the outside, all this weird stuff. But I actually started to use this in my sculpture work later on, looking around the room. There's stuff that I use now for my sculpture work, which is much better than this stuff. But something was trying to happen in the drawings. And I'm going to actually take off the camera without dropping it on the floor. Take this off. And I'm turning the camera around. So now you can kind of see, here's some of my artwork now, which I think is much better in a way, but it was kind of influenced by all those crazy drawings. I'm going to turn around, and you can see these are all sculptures now that I've done. But it was the freedom, I think, of all those drawings, which led to stuff I'm much, much happier now. You can see, you get this almost like obsessive quality of the work of just doing tons and tons of sculptures. Not saying that they're great or anything, but I am having so much fun with this crazy world that I created. And it took a lot of trial and error, crazy drawings and things to finally come up with something that I feel is exciting and something that I'm really finally proud of. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video as maybe hopefully a bit of inspiration and an inside scoop into my process. Okay, awesome.